countdown. Have a good show, ladies.
Should be the second up from the top.
You are live in 3, 2, 1.
It's been a long wait, and we've waited until December to say it is time for season 3 of The Royals. Starts right now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
There we go.
This is so fitting for this show.
I know. I was like, what song are we going to use? We had to go with our old favorite.
Love it. I love it so much. And speaking of love this show.
Love this show. Guys, Ally and I are just, let's just start with introductions.
Yeah.
First off, welcome to season 3, episode 1, the after show for the Royals here on AfterBuzz TV. We're going to be recapping together with Remeberance of Ourselves. I'm your host tonight, Megan Stecher, and you guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. It is all at Megan Stecher, and I'm joined by Ally.
Hello, I'm Ally Nasta. You can find me on Twitter at Ally Nasta, and on Instagram, it's at Ally Girl.
I'm so excited to meet you. And also, just for everybody to know, we will be also having Annabelle DeSisto and Fern Ronay join us. Unfortunately, it's a bad time of year to kick off a show, being Christmas time and all, and both those ladies are a little busy today. But we look forward to them joining us in the future. Oh my goodness, I don't even know where to start. We were just talking off camera. We couldn't wait to start talking about the show and saying how hot our Prince Liam is this year. Shirtless and all.
It's like speechless. I don't even understand how a human could be that perfect. I just want to be in the presence of him.
Is it too much to ask that we could kiss him?
Or just to like be in the same room so I can just listen to him talk, you know?
Yes.
Like I just want to be there and just like stare at him, but then he might think I'm creepy. But I swear I'm not creepy. I just think that you're, really talented and beautiful.
A real specimen of a man. Well, we'll work on contacting his people, and maybe we'll get our wish someday.
Yes.
Someday.
Yes.
Season 3, come on in here, William Mosley. Okay, well, let's start from the beginning with recapping what happened. Folks, if I do mess up any names, I apologize. I know that's my thing. Mark Schwann called me out on it last season. It's like the show moves so fast that my brain can't move fast enough to call people the right name sometimes. But I took so many notes. So let's get started.
All right.
Helena, we start out with Helena's trying to break open King Simon's, do you call it a crypt? Tomb?
Yeah.
It's above ground, but I'm not sure what you would call it. She's trying to get a hold of his bones for his DNA to prove that the twins are his legitimate children, and Prince Liam should be heir to the throne, even though she's the one who went on TV and said that they are illegitimate. Unfortunately, there is a note says gone fishing. Cyrus has gotten there before her and claims he has disposed of the bones. Do you think he really did, like, burn them up and scatter them?
I don't think he burned them. I think he just hid them somewhere because he's just being a brat like he always is. But I just feel like she just dug her own grave on this one because she knows how Simon works, and I feel like it's so annoying that she, even though she's known from the beginning who he is and what his mentality is, the fact that she would do something that's kind of going to screw her over in the end. That's the paternity test scandal has been something that I've been so angry about because one, like, if they could, like, if they wanted to, like, write that out, then we could never figure out if they were the kids, and it's been bothering me. Okay. But I think that the doctor who took the results has to probably still have that in the lab somewhere, right? That's what my brain went to. So it was like, maybe that's what'll come out with, like somehow getting it back. But no, I don't think he scattered it. I think he just hid it somewhere and, like, it's gonna show up somewhere sooner or later because he didn't hide it, like, well enough.
Same. Maybe Helena will uncover where it is. That's so great.
Probably.
Or Jasper.
Yeah, Jasper.
The Queen is also feeling a little randy. She has never, what did she say? I've never gone this long without sex.
Yeah.
As we know, the Queen really does enjoy a little dalliance. So she asks Rachel, her lady-in-waiting, to arrange a meeting of sorts for her, which leads to very funny things later. Liam and Eleanor appear on a talk show. So I had a hard time swallowing this one because I don't think it's very common for the royal family to go on a talk show. And it establishes that it's only been 2 weeks since the King's Cup, where Ted Price was attacked by the crowd after the video was shown of him murdering the king, and he's dead. So for the fact that Prince Liam was not prepared for the question, I was like not buying it. Maybe if you told us it was 6 months later and he was tired of answering the question, or they've been in hiding this whole time and they thought no one else would answer. But 2 weeks, I'm like, of course. Why else would you even be appearing on this talk show? To address that.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, because when I saw that and like his face kind of went solid, and like at first it was all funny and lighthearted, and I'm like, all right, let's be serious. There's so much things going on in your family always, and especially right after that huge event of finding out the killer of their father. And I just was like, what? Like the reaction too of acting so stunned was just almost unreasonable. And the fact that in the beginning when they're laughing about things, this isn't what a talk show is going to be all about. Let's be real. They want the drama, they want the dirt. So I didn't buy it either. And I was, and it was just kind of frustrating that he was like, I was prepared, and it was like, well, then why were you so shocked that it was going to happen? But maybe his thought was that, okay, I'm mentally prepared. He thought he was going to be prepared, like probably like thought it over in his head. But then when he got there, he was just shocked, like the words couldn't come out. That's maybe what I was thinking. But
because I thought what he said in the limo was, I should have been prepared. Robert would have been prepared, is what he follows it up with.
I thought it was like the way that he was going to say it.
Oh, okay.
That was my interpretation, where he like had it in his head but didn't know how, like didn't have like a prepared like monologue per se.
Yes.
And that's something that he's always gone off book. He's never listened to his mom. He's never had anything, so he just like was just going like, whatever, I'm just going to say what comes to my mind. So I think that in my head is what he meant by prepared, like having something like already rehearsed, but then just like thought he would be okay, and then just like it totally went off the rail.
True. I thought that Eleanor, her answering for him, saying that people decided and justice was served, that's a really strong statement. So I was a little disappointed, and this is kind of just how the show goes, that like you don't see the public's reaction a lot of times when you would want to see it. We were kept so insular in the palace tonight. So I was just like, wow, I wonder what the public's what they would have written the public's reaction as. Because that's kind of her like tossing aside the fact that they did publicly execute this man.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that it was so inside the palace today, because I was thinking about it. I was like, you know, because it just makes you think about these, if these were the real royals or whatever, you're just like, wow, they are in the palace a lot. Like, and I was thinking about the queen and having all those issues, and I'm like, that's got to sometimes get boring. No wonder like crazy stuff goes down, because they don't go anywhere. But I thought too, they didn't show any reaction of like people outside the palace like having riots, because I feel like that's something that would have gone down too, like something crazy where we would have heard more about it.
Yeah. Well, we don't write the show, so let's see where it goes from here. I thought Eleanor's outfit during the that scene spoke volumes. She was actually wearing it. It was kind of like an ode to her life being a circus, is what I thought, because it looked like a really old school jacket that maybe the circus master, who's like in the middle of the ring and telling you, you know, leading the circus, would wear. I just thought that's
a great, I didn't even think about that. I didn't put those two together, but that's amazing that you would think that, because that's so true.
And I think, you know, you could mistake this show for something that, you know, young people love and it's very soapy, but I think that they put a lot of effort into really like tiny details.
Oh,
and this was
completely.
one of them.
No, that's amazing that you noticed that. That was, and you're right, because each of these characters are so in depth. And we were just talking about how Mark Schwann, like, he is an amazing, like, he's just, like, his ideas and everything creative wise, I love all of his work. And so this, like, of course, not to be disappointed, because we aren't. And I can see that in each of those characters. There's so much depth to them. So the fact that it would be even depth, like, with the costume and what she's wearing, that is, like, amazing that you pointed that out. Yeah. I'm gonna have to go look at the outfit again.
Yeah.
To like look at it.
And it's kind of one of those things where it makes you think like, oh, what else have I missed?
Yeah.
Like, what other suggestions are being given to me through her wardrobe. This episode? You know, it's just one of those things. But with the end of their talk show interview, there's, you know, wrapping it up in the car, and he said, you know, Robert would have been prepared for that, which leads us to see that Robert is alive. So we got that tease at the end of last season that someone was alive on a beach, stranded, and we saw the helmet. So now we get the real proof he's alive. We get to see what he looks like, you know, what the actor who's portraying him looks like. And it's a bit of like who Tom Hanks. What was the name of that movie when he
Castaway?
was stranded? It's a bit Castaway.
Yeah.
He's like making his own sushi.
Yeah.
I like it. What are your thoughts on him being alive? Like as soon as you saw that it was him, just reaction.
I was confused at first because I was just like, wait. It just started making me think and going back through all of the things that they've said. Of course, the Queen at first said that he committed suicide, which we found out to be false. And then we heard that he was in a plane and then it crashed or something. That the man that was like waiting outside the palace told Eleanor that. So it just like I was just confused, like, oh my gosh, and all my thoughts of all the things I've heard about him were like kind of like bumping into each other, like what is happening? And like I was just kind of shocked, but at the same time, I feel like that is a genius because now, but he also, I'm kind of jumping forward, but he was not trying to leave.
Right.
So
right.
I'm so confused by that. So I think my initial reaction is just confusion, like, what? Like almost speechless.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to think.
Well, let's just get through Robert because we
Yeah.
get little bits and pieces of him, and then he does not want to be rescued.
Yeah.
So that's the huge shock here. So what happened last season was someone explained that they got a call from inside the palace to kill Robert. And I think this guy effectively thinks he killed him, but Robert survived the crash, and he's full castaway mode on an island.
Yeah.
And I think that we're led to believe when that helicopter shows up, we were shown the flare more than once.
Yeah.
And then in this specific scene where the helicopter comes and you think he's going to light the flare up to try to be rescued, he doesn't. And he also puts the fire out, hugs the ground, and then he also scratches off HRH off of his helmet, which means His Royal Highness.
Yeah.
So he's left with just his name. So I'm wondering, you tell me what you thought.
Okay.
I'm wondering if in that moment he decided he did not want to be rescued because he did not want to go back to the life of being a royal. He wanted to just be Robert.
I was thinking that maybe, the signs of like everything last season, you would see signs, and obviously people want some of the royals dead. And I just thought it really shocking at first that he didn't want to be rescued. But then thinking about it more, I think maybe because we kind of saw a little bit of the color of the helicopter that was flying over. Maybe it was the lights. I don't know. I was trying to like make it out. But maybe there's something he knows about if he is to get caught by those people, maybe they will kill him.
Okay,
So
right.
maybe they're like whoever was trying to kill them is like always like I don't know. This could be completely off, but maybe they're like scouring the area to make sure there's like no life or anything. I don't know. But my thoughts was maybe he knows if those people were coming, then they would end up killing him anyways. So he's trying to stay alive in a weird sense. But I don't know. That's just my thought process of possibly maybe that's why he would want to not get rescued, because other than that, it would not make sense.
And I wonder if... Oh, never mind. That wouldn't make sense because his name is still on the helmet. I'm like, if he thinks he scratches his name off the helmet and then gets rescued later on, he could be like, oh, my name's Bobby, and I'd love to be dropped off not in London when we get back.
But it also leads me to believe that there's obviously something else we don't know. Like whenever he was about to get murdered, he was told something that, might even make him even more scared to be rescued rather than just like survive on this island alone. But I'm really excited to see that storyline progress because it's kind of always been in the back of my head because we don't know his character. And when you start this series with someone that's like possibly dead and you continue to say their name and bring them up, it only leads you to be like, man, I wonder what Robert was really like. So I'm excited that we're gonna find out what Robert was really like and like maybe how he really thought about all of this and like the palace. And so I'm just really excited to hear more about him.
Yes, maybe he'll speak or something.
Maybe he'll start talking to a dodgeball like in Castaway.
Exactly, the volleyball. Exactly.
Yeah.
He needs a Wilson. So this kind of flawlessly sends us back to the palace. They're also eating sushi for lunch. Helena is kind of having her weekly meeting, I guess, with the kids, finding out what their royal duties are. Liam's got a full roster of things he's up to, very busy, charitable stuff going on. Eleanor is not so busy. So the Queen has set up a bunch of merchandising meetings for her. It's time for her to start slapping her name on some products and make a brand for themselves, because the Queen does bring up the fact that, like, we have to, direct the message right now. We did just public execution just went on with Ted. We got to like make the message a little more positive right now. So we go into, we do see a really funny quick moment of Helena trying to grab hair off of Cyrus's head for the DNA test. He's finally emerged from his room. It turns out to be a double. I didn't realize it was a double until he turned around.
I noticed just because of the past seasons when they've had a double, I was like, Cyrus is too smart to even walk out of the house, and he's going to do something purposely. Like, as soon as I saw his face, because he looked weird. Like, his face was kind of like it looked like he was purposely doing a facial expression. So I kind of had a sense that it was definitely his double and not him, considering that would have been so easy for her to get it. And here we are, yes, because it would have been too easy for her to get a piece of hair.
True. But that was funny, though. That guy really doesn't look a lot like Jake Maskell. Eleanor also has a little talk with Liam really quickly while that's going on, saying, I see that bruise on your chin you're trying to hide, which opens us up to the storyline of what's going on with Liam. Liam's not doing so well since Ted Price's untimely death.
Yes.
But Eleanor starts taking, and also Cyrus shaves off his hair into a faux hawk.
Which I thought it kind of looked good. I was like, all right.
So do I. It makes him look really badass to me.
Which he kind of needs that. I mean, he'd before, actually, it kind of, I don't know. I don't like him and he really annoys me and whatever. But I was like, there are certain times where I feel bad for him. And in this scene, I kind of felt bad for him a little bit when he was shaving his hair. And then all of a sudden he did that. And I was like, okay, I don't feel bad for you anymore because you're just like you're still annoying as ever. And you look even more harsh than you did before.
True. I do think the faux hawk suits his personality.
Yeah, it does. Completely.
We also get a quick scene of Eleanor really flirting with Jasper through the security cameras, dressing scantily, fake tying a shoe with no laces. I'm not sure why she's playing with him so much as far as flirting. When they actually do speak, she seems so standoffish.
I think it's just her way of showing affection. You know, we've seen so many relationships fail with her, and I feel like she doesn't really understand how she should react to people even trying to give her attention because she's gotten, screwed over so many times. And I'm sure she's just like, well, you know what? I am over this and I'm just going to do what I want to do. And if Jasper wants me, then like, look, you can want me and look at me. And I think it was just her way of like, in a way, being a little cynical and being like, haha, in your face. At the same time, I think that's just her way of showing affection in a weird back brain kind of way. Like, I don't really understand it, but at the same time, I think that's her way of like kind of like flirting and not really knowing what to do in this situation. Because with Jasper, it has been so back and forth, and trust has been a huge issue. And like we see a huge breakthrough today, which I was literally like, oh, finally, we're seeing Team Jasper. But yeah, her being flirty in the cameras, I think that's just her way of being Len.
Very Lenny.
Yes.
So poor Len has to sit through all these terrible merchandising meetings. Just to name a few, we sat through fascinators, umbrellas, kids' costumes, vegetarian organic food, alcohol, and perfume. I actually really liked the alcohol one, but unfortunately...
It tasted bad. I really liked the umbrella one, actually. I feel like people... Hilarious. It was, like, obviously really cheesy and kind of overdone, you could say. But I was like, that's kind of pretty. It was the best one out of all of them.
I think that's one of those silly things that you could sell on a holiday. You know when you have parades and it's like a big national day? Like here in the States, it would be like July 4th, Memorial Day, whatever, what have you. And it's like everybody needs a flag in their hand. And be like, if there were a royal event going on, one of those silly little umbrellas would be adorable.
They would love them. But then again, it isn't Len at all, and it's definitely more of the Queen's taste. She'd be like, yes, I would love that umbrella. Like,
sure, I agree.
Definitely not her personality, but I liked it.
To finish out the meeting, which is unsuccessful, Mr. Hill announces Jasper 2.0. And he explains why he's a better version of himself now, which I thought was a really sweet
loved
scene.
that. First of all, I love Mr. Hill. He is amazing. I feel like he's like a father figure to Len. And obviously, she didn't really she took advantage of like, having her dad there. And obviously she realized that once he passed away or was, murdered, she realized, oh my gosh, I should have taken your advice. I should have listened. I should have like talked to you more. And we saw that a lot when she was in like, by his bedside. She was like regretting, some decisions that she made. So I feel like we see a special bond between them, and it is kind of like father-daughter, and she actually listens to him. And there's a lot of people she doesn't listen to besides Liam. And that special connection really just kind of was like such a smiling point to open it up to this like Jasper 2.0, because he wants the best for her, and he wouldn't do that if he didn't think Jasper 2.0 would be this like good guy for her.
Agreed.
I love Jasper.
I love the heat between them.
It's so great. And even from the beginning, like, I feel like after that first episode where you're introduced to Jasper, just seeing his progression, the first episode I hated him, and then like after that I'm like, okay, I love you. You're amazing. And like there was definitely like just the look in his eye too. I'm just like, oh my gosh, you're great. And them together, they just have this like undeniable chemistry. It's
undeniable.
It's very
and
undeniable.
She still is constantly posting pictures with him on her social media and always calls them best friends. And I really think something else is going on here.
I was looking at that the other day, and I'm like, first of all, if they did date in real life, I would be, that's amazing.
Totally
Because
on
first
board.
of all, like, most beautiful couple in the world, might I add. But that would be really exciting, and I would hope that maybe there are more. Maybe.
Me too. I hope it's one of those things where you want to keep it private because you don't want the world prying in.
Yeah.
So you just tell everyone you're friends.
Or, like, maybe it's one of those things where it's like, you don't want to like admit that you like each other, and so maybe they're just like, well, for like it's just work, and then you don't maybe they don't even realize that they like each other. I don't know.
Look, actors fall in love all the time on set. They have to get, try to make their emotions so real and feel something and work off one another. I would not be surprised in the least if they are in love. He does give her a really sweet monologue at this point too about how people want to be her because of the confidence she exudes. And she kind of stumbles upon the fact that she really loves her eyeliner she wears. It's kind of like a mask and a defense. And he takes it away to go call them, which is awesome. Which is also not his job, but how sweet.
Yeah, what I love about Jasper is like he literally doesn't stop, and even she did mention, don't ever stop trying for me or don't stop fighting for me. And I loved that she said that, because even though like she said that, it didn't even need to be said, because Jasper would always 100% fight for her and like do things for her. And I thought that this was such a sincere way for him to really kind of get in there and like say how sorry he was, because we haven't seen him care like this much. We've seen the surface of like him protecting her and like just being there for her in certain ways, but nothing like physical besides like the physical stuff, but like nothing like flowers, nothing that we've really seen so far. So I thought this was a great gesture of him to do.
Absolutely. It was like a real good guy moment for him, finally.
Yeah, right?
The Queen asks Mr. Hill to become the head of security now that Ted is gone. He says he will consider it. And she asks him to find out who started the hashtag King Liam movement, which, oh, God, I'm just dying to know why she wants to know who started King Liam. But I think it's as simple as, let's get the ball rolling even more and, push him into the monarchy. Like, we'll have to get rid of Cyrus somehow. But, like, I don't know what she plans on doing with this girl.
Yeah,
Wilhelmina.
Well, that scene, hands down, my heart started beating. I'm like, not her. She didn't do anything. Please,
Oh my
don't
God.
kill her.
The one thing I love about this show is when you think something's going really bad and it's great, or if something's going really great and all of a sudden is bad, like when you didn't see it coming, that's my favorite.
Yeah, no, and I was like, thank goodness. I was like, please, not another death this soon. I was like, I can't handle it.
Like the body count is like getting up there.
Well, just like really quick, speaking about all the deaths, I'm like, literally they do it as if it's like not a big deal. Like Cyrus, when he just like poisoned that person, or like later it was like, oh, no big deal, just another one. I'm like, man, how does he sleep at night?
Seriously. Well, speaking of Wilhelmina,
Yeah.
who the Queen does go find, Liam meets with her. He's wearing a ball cap. She assumes he's hung over, but we know that something else is going on.
Yeah, he's got some Fight Club stuff going
Got some
on.
Fight Club crazy, which I love for his character to like toughen him up.
You know what it did you ever watch The OC?
Yes.
It reminded me of Ryan.
Yeah.
Like Ryan from the OC, I just was like thinking about his like brooding character, and obviously that has nothing to do with it. I just like it just like reminded me of Ryan and his brooding side. And I get so sad when Liam gets all broody and sad because he doesn't talk to anybody else about it. He keeps it in like inside.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, talk to people. It's gonna be okay. I'll help you. I'll talk to you.
Brooding
King
Liam. We love you, Liam. The one thing Wilhelmina does for him in this scene is tell him it's not your fault. You didn't betray Ophelia. He did. So Liam really lets loose that, Ted did tell me that I would have this terrible weight on me if I killed him. And I let him be killed, and it is weighing on me. It's horrible. And God, he loved Ophelia, Ted's daughter. So that's a whole other...
Which, like, that just, like, I was always, like, team Ophelia and Liam. And then, like, after that happened, I'm just like, it can never happen now. Like, my dreams were just, like, shot. I'm like, okay, this can't happen between them because that's so uncomfortable. And, like, there's always going to be some sort of, like, hasty feelings. And he even almost, like, was blaming Ophelia when he was like, I should have been there with him, with his dad, when he got stabbed. Remember when they were, like, hanging out beforehand?
They were supposed to,
But, yeah, wait, sorry, what were we at? We were just talking about, like, the weight that it was feeling on him. Yeah, I feel, it sucks that he has to feel that weight because at the same time, had he not, like, it could have been him. You know what I mean? Like, more people could have gotten killed because he was ruthless, just trying to, like, get some revenge. So, I don't know. At least Wilhelmina is there for him to, like, really bring him down because he needs that. He needs, like, because there's no one else that really understands what he's actually going through because I feel like none of them care. Like, oh, you killed someone, no big deal.
True. And a little tidbit for all the fans, Wilhelmina has been brought on as a series regular this year, so she's going to have some kind of big role. We don't know what, but I'm sure it involves hashtag King Liam.
I feel like they got a little something going on.
I mean, Liam's got something with so many women. I just can't
he's
keep
just
up.
so charismatic that, like, he, like, looks into a girl's eyes and you're like, they've got to be in love with you because I'm just staring at this. Like, he can just pull chemistry with anybody.
I call him, like, a panty dropper. Like, the panties just drop when girls look at him. Panty dropper.
It just, like, makes my heart go 1,000 miles a minute. I'm like, just keep talking. You're amazing.
Seriously, especially with her shirt off.
Oh, my gosh, those abs.
Those
like,
fight scenes were everything.
I was really sad that he was getting punched, and it was, like, making me really emotional because I'm like, don't hurt yourself. I hate that for you. But I literally was like, what? Like, jaw dropper. I hate to be like that, but you're hot.
You're hot.
You look really great.
But swinging from the super depths of Liam's guilt into a comedic moment, Cyrus emerges finally from his room in a bubble and a velour tracksuit.
Yes.
I love a velour tracksuit all day for Cyrus because he's usually dressed to the nines.
Yeah.
So he's debuting the new do in the bubble so that Helena can't get a piece of his DNA.
Yeah.
She had wanted to meet with him to say, hey, by the way, Jeffree Stewart's a problem. So we found out about the whole crazy mess that was revealed last season with the rival family. And the Stewart family is trying to get revenge. And the Queen's like, FYI, this video is still about to be released. Like, we're still being threatened. So Cyrus basically gives a big F you to her and says, well, you know what? I'll have him over and we'll talk and I'll deal with it. And screw you, Queenie. We have more comedy when the Queen mistakes the Lord Chamberlain candidate, Spencer, as her booty call.
As soon as that man walked the door, I was like, no, that's not the right guy.
I love that it was so obvious for us because sometimes things just never are easy with this show. Everything's a tease. And just like a fun, comedic, we all knew what was happening moment was good for me.
And what's so great is the fact that, like, she still keeps him on. I'm like, of course. It was great.
And the fact, like, when she says, why are there so many people just running about in the palace? Like, the royal family lives here. And Rachel's like, well, that's something the Lord Chamberlain would be taking care of.
And he's going to be taking care of that, all right. He already took care of the Queen.
Well, true to Queen style, she vows never to mention it again and hires the man anyway.
Yeah.
And Huge Grant was the name of the
which
gigolo she was supposed to be sleeping with.
Well, what's so funny is that when you see him, you're like, oh yeah, he looks way more like a like, I don't know, just like, and like the way he stripped off his clothes, I'm like, oh gosh. I was like,
right, he is more of a stripper look.
Yeah. And the other
Obviously.
guy looks a little bit more like put together, and he was younger, and I just feel like he looked like I thought maybe like I don't know, I just didn't know, but I was like that cannot be the gigolo like at all.
It was dicey.
But I was like no, don't do it.
But really funny.
But at first I didn't know it was going to be Lord Chamberlain. Had no idea who it was. I just was like, oh, this isn't somebody for this isn't who she's supposed to be.
Gotcha.
But I was
Okay.
like, it could have been like Liam's friend. Like I didn't know who he was. Did you?
Okay. I did because of right before Cyrus rolled out in the bubble, Rachel says, I've got a meeting with the king for you, plus the Lord Chamberlain candidate is here, plus your booty call is waiting. So she named all three really quick, and then Helena just assumed.
Melissa was like, don't assume ever.
I mean, the guy was waiting right outside her bedroom.
I mean, hey, and he's attractive. Why not?
True. Mr. Hill decides to tell Eleanor about the offer from the Queen to become the head of security. And they have a really sweet, sweet talk where she says, basically, like, you're not letting me down. Even though I said you would be letting me down at some point, you aren't. And I think that I can't think of anyone more fit to take the job. You'd actually be watching out for all of us. I thought that was so sweet.
I thought that was amazing. Like I said before, I think they have it's kind of like a father figure in her life, and the fact that he could be taking care of everybody makes it just so much more like they can sleep easier at night, you know. And like she said, you don't really have big shoes to fill considering the last security guard. But I think that was great that he even came to her. You know what I mean? And that just kind of shows his character and it all, and that he really does care about this family and wants the best for her as like being in her life as well. So I just thought that was such a sweet moment, and I just am happy that there is actually one normal, sane person that has their best interests at heart, and I really hope it stays that way for him at least.
Well, and it makes me nervous because he's so perfect of a character.
Yes.
I think we mentioned this to Mark Schwann last season. We were like, dude, he's too perfect. And I think he said something to the effect of like, look, sometimes nice characters are in there just to be nice and balance things out, which is good to hear. It's kind of like as evil as Cyrus is, maybe like Mr. Hill is that nice.
Yeah, no, I think it is because it's a nice balance between like the craziness of all that is going on. He's like the standard like staple that kind of is like, you know, if there's a scene like, okay, he's like, she's gonna be okay. Things are gonna work out. So that's I'm glad that you just brought that up. That's interesting.
We do now move into when Jeffrey Stewart enters the palace. So Cyrus has him contacted. He comes through the secret tunnels to meet in Cyrus's bedroom. This gets crazy pretty quick.
Yeah.
So Cyrus hands him a drink and claims, I didn't poison it. I don't do my own wet work. Which is completely the opposite of the truth, because he does poison Jeffrey right there. But not after. He makes it look good.
Yeah.
We get to hang in there for a minute. Because he offers him, he says there's the king's ransom, literally, suitcase full of money with the king's face all over it, to trying to buy him off to not put the video out.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he's poisoned. He offers him an antidote. Oh no, guess what? It's more poison. I mean, that was like the most Cyrus scene I've ever seen.
Yeah, I feel like whenever someone's in a scene with him, they're not safe. And I just constantly am on edge, like, what are you going to do next, dude? Seriously.
Well, true. I remember last season constantly terrified for his baby mama. Why, her name is escaping me.
Prudence?
Prudence. I was going to say Constance. Prudence. Yeah, I always thought he was going to kill her.
Yeah.
And yes, I feel like a real uneasiness when someone's around him. Like they're the next victim.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey was.
Like even the queen sometimes I'm like, oh gosh, is he going to get too hasty? What's going to happen?
Yeah.
Like I don't know how to feel about this.
I feel safe for the queen. Like somehow I feel like she's such a badass. He will never be able to kill her.
Yeah, because she has her people.
True.
Yeah, you're right. But I still, at the same time, I don't trust anybody. Like, it's like, you know, when it's funny because when a certain, like, random character comes in, I'm constantly like, are you good or bad? Mm-hmm. Like, I always, like, try to, like, guess who I think they're going to be in the show.
And they're always both.
Yeah, you're right.
Except for Mr.
They
Hill.
either start good and end bad or start bad and end good. Something like that.
That's true. Jeffrey dies with a gasp and claims he's not the only one with the video. And Cyrus says, well, we'll see. So I'm trying to find out.
Yeah.
We do see Liam enter a bar, bloodied, and this pretty blonde bartender just takes one look at him and pours him a beer. So now we have the introduction of a new character. We have no idea who she is. Of course, it's another pretty blonde in his life. And I'm like, honestly, the list of pretty blondes, I just can't remember them all.
And someone taking care of him as well.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. So she cleans off his face. And then when they zoom out, he's telling her all about feeling guilty about Ted. Same thing he did with Wilhelmina. But she says he needs to rest, and she really doesn't speak to him. So we don't get really any dialogue out of her to have any clues of who she is. But when we do zoom out from her cleaning off his face, we're in her apartment. So that also did not give me any clues. I don't know where they are. I don't know what's going on.
Obviously, I think it's, again, I saw the chemistry between them, and I'm like, oh, man, do you like her too?
Well, he says to her as she's kind of walking out of the room, I thought about you a lot, and I should have done more for you. So she's obviously someone important from his past.
Yeah.
He's screwed her over in some way. I mean, is this pre-Gemma love?
I don't know. I think that maybe he must have like come in or done something drunk, and then they started talking, and like just kind of like one of those kind of like an Ophelia relationship where they met in a random bar or something or other, and then maybe he like I don't know, something along those lines. I think I don't know if it was like relationship wise yet, but maybe like he kind of like screwed her over. Like maybe it was just like either a one night stand or just like he flirted with her but didn't like her back kind of thing. Maybe
I'm wondering if it was one of those situations where it was a girlfriend that the royal family wouldn't let him have, in the way that he kind of had to have Gemma as a girlfriend because she was of the caliber of the family. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he screwed her over in the past, and we're just all waiting to figure out how. So really the only thing we haven't touched on is, so Cyrus tosses the body into the river. He does his own wet work from start to finish here. He rolls the body up in a curtain from his room and tosses it over into the river. Super close to the palace. No big deal.
I was just like, he has no, I don't even know what the word I'm looking for.
Zero Fs.
He literally is just like, okay, see ya. I just killed another person, just thrown him into the river. No worries. Like,
and he said, say hi to who
Simon.
Say hi to Simon for me. How awful.
Terrible. Terrible.
God, he's an awful person. So the last wonderful thing we haven't touched on yet is Jasper and Eleanor. He comes to her room to ask for that date she told him to ask for. She's dressed to the nines, and he's dressed up too, and they compliment each other, and then she says, I'm busy. I need to paint my room. Obviously, this upsets him. He yells at her. He snaps finally after his like super sweet streak. He said, you enjoy messing with my mind. And anyway, he said, I'm going to go and buy the paint, and we're going to paint your room.
I was so happy that he said that because we've had so much push and shove. It's been 2 seasons where we haven't really seen too much besides in the beginning of their relationship. And just like, you know, all the drama that's happened between them, I was like, we're still getting a push.
Well, so the betrayal last season with her finding out that he had been scheming to take the diamonds and sell and all that was humongous. On top of sleeping with mom. So they've been through a lot, but it's been a lot of cat and mouse.
Yeah, like it's been so back and forth that it's just kind of like I was so happy to finally have like a little bit of a something. Yeah. And I just thought it was so cute. His little smirk towards her is the cutest thing ever. And now that like the bad news is out, there's like a lighthearted smile more so than in the other seasons. Before he would look at her with this like ingenuine smile. Bless you.
Excuse me, guys. Sorry, I couldn't hold that one in.
So we would like see some smirks, but they kind of had like a little sense of like evil in his eye. But now it's like that everything's I just saw this smirk and I was just like, it's so cute. It's so adorable. And just like he said, he was like, are those your painting clothes? And I was just like, you're right. No, those probably aren't her painting clothes.
It was cute. She actually wore a shirt over top of the outfit she had on, like the dressed up outfit that we all thought she was going on a date on. Yeah. She kept it on and just put a giant shirt over it.
Which she can make anything look good. Like she is just gorgeous. But yeah, no, I'm so excited to see them actually having a conversation and like talking and kind of giggling. Because that's something we also, even though we all as like an audience wanted like Jasper and Len to work out, we didn't know like what their personalities were really like together.
True.
I thought for a while it was just like straight like, you know, sexual relationship.
Right.
But
like
now we're
season
seeing
1.
Yeah.
was definitely that.
Exactly. Now we're seeing a little bit more in depth in that they can have those emotions towards each other, and it's going to be really exciting to like peel those layers back and kind of give Eleanor a chance for love.
Right.
Because
Finally.
I was heartbroken for her last season when his ex Samantha was doing all that to her, because it was the first time we've seen her genuinely happy.
And I thought the introduction of her ex-boyfriend might be like a nice time for her to be happy again, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
That didn't work out.
Yeah,
either.
I thought so too. Oh, you're talking about Beck?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I love Beck, but like at the same time, even though he wants the best for her, he was trying too drastically to change who she was as a person. And I think that's why I was always like Team Jasper, because I'm like, he's never going to make her change who she is. He can bring out the best from her and like, you know, when you're in love with someone, like you don't have to change who they are as a person. And she's obviously not defined by the drugs she was doing, but I feel like Jasper would be more likely for her to realize like, you're right, I don't need those things, because he wasn't so hardcore trying to be like cold turkey, leave all that for me. Like Jasper's gonna I'm gonna help you through it. I'm gonna help you through the hard times.
In saying that, I'm realizing she was sober this whole episode.
Yeah.
That's a good look for her.
Yeah, it is. And it wasn't that she was forced to not have it. It's just like, you want something you can't have, right? Well, that's what Beck was doing. He was taking things away from her like a child. Like, no, you can't have this. With Jasper, he's like, hang out with me, do these things with me, or from what it seems, just from the date. But I just think it's going to be really good for her.
Yeah. Well, let's get into some predictions for next week.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I love how we flash the lights and everything.
I know.
When we do.
It's
That's
so much
fun. Oh my God, do you want to go first? Or should I go first?
Do you have your predictions ready?
I do.
Okay, go first.
Okay, so from the super tease at the end of the episode, showing what happens for the rest of the season, I think the big focus is going to be on trying to get Liam to become king, fighting Cyrus. But I'm not sure what that's going to involve. But I think there's a huge getting the public behind making him king by like sheer force, by sheer like the will of the people. And I also think that he's grappling with his ghosts of being the spare, like the spare. He wasn't the heir. So even though Robert's dead supposedly to them, he can't get over feeling like he deserves to be king. So I think he's going to be dealing with mentally with that a lot. And I think, unfortunately, it's going to be like a carrot dangled over us all season. We know Robert's alive, but he's not going to show up until the very end as like the cliffhanger of the season. And right after something really good happened with like Liam maybe becoming king, or like...
Yeah, he'll come back and then it'll be, oh, that's a great prediction.
And I feel like I have one more. Oh, Beck shows back up. We see that. I think Jasper and Eleanor really do start up a relationship again, and Beck turns it all upside down. But I think she wants to go with Jasper and not Beck this time.
Oh, loved that. Those were really great predictions. I love that.
Whew, and I'm mentally exhausted.
Well, I guess my predictions are that I feel like there's going to be some sort of, not just like internal struggle with the king and Liam whole thing with Cyrus. I think that maybe Cyrus is going to be more challenged than he's ever been before, and we're going to see some sort of like threat towards him, because first, I mean, besides his cancer, no one's really ever, like, he hasn't been challenged like ever. Not like it's kind of been like seamless. He just ends up killing whoever wants to, you know, figure something out or do something. So maybe like a huge struggle with that, where we're like seeing him get threatened finally, because whatever. And then with Liam, I think we're gonna see a couple new love interests, but I think he's gonna establish a girlfriend throughout this season.
Okay.
I think we'll see some more love, and then also I think going off of him becoming king, maybe we'll see a little bit more tries of the paternity test, and maybe that could be something. But I do like your prediction about how, like, it's not going to be just because of, like, oh, well, now we know. It's going to be like, well, the people have spoken kind of thing. And with Len and Jasper, I am I want them, I guess my prediction is that I want them to like fully date and see Len happy again. I want to see that. And then also I have a feeling that Lord Chamberlain is not just going to be a one-time thing. I think it's going to turn into a relationship.
Same.
Yeah.
Or like it's gonna be her booty call all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Same.
And then maybe he'll find feelings, and she was like, please, the queen doesn't like do that with whatever.
Okay.
So mine are kind of basic right now. I think I need a couple more episodes to really figure out some hardcore predictions, but we'll see.
It's a good start. Well,
Yes.
we're so excited you guys
Super.
joined us and that season 3 is here. Ally, darling, tell them where they can continue the convo with you.
Yes, please continue the conversation on Twitter. You can find me at Ally Nasta and on Instagram at Ally Girl.
And you guys can find me, Megan Stecher, on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. It's all at Megan Stecher. That is spelled MEGANSTECHER. Tweet me. I love tweeting back. Comment on a picture or something. I don't know. We'll chat this week. Love it. Okay, and we'll see you guys next week for episode 2 of The Royals with the after show here on AfterBuzz TV.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.